The little one waited until she was fully gone to stand up on the statue's head and trot around on it freely.
A lost foal, eh? I don't suppose they're looking for you.
The voice suddenly spoke. The little one babbled as she pointed towards the castle and then to where the two alicorn were standing before they took their separate ways.
Oh, Princess Celestia and Princess Luna? Bah, don't bother with them. They're a couple of grumps who don't even know how to sustain a relationship. They've been fighting like this for almost... Has it almost been 1,000 years since I've been imprisoned? I think so. That's rather eye-opening.
The little one babbled again, seeming to be in response to him.
I said don't worry about it. I really don't care if the younger one snaps on Princess Celestia. She deserves it. She ended my beautiful reign of chaos. Sure, the younger one did it with her, but that's different. She was most likely manipulated by her. I sense a lot of anger in the younger one, and I can tell she's as fond of Celestia as I am.
The foal babbled back again.
No, I'm not being too harsh. If you were imprisoned in stone for the time it took for 30 generations to go by, you'd be angry as well. Or is it 40? Oh dear. Is my math failing me now as well?
The little foal made a small scream of anger as she punched her hoof into his stone antler. Though, of course, it didn't do anything, and she stumbled backwards, clutching her hurt hoof. She started crying as she rubbed her little hoof.
See, that's what you get for arguing with me. You have no idea who I am and who you're messing with. If you truly knew who I was and what I've done to your ancestors, you would be at my feet begging for my mercy.
The little foal wailed at this point, as she rolled onto her side, clutching her hoof tightly to her chest.
You're not even listening. You're just using that annoying noise to make me feel bad for you and say the dumb S word. Well, not happening, hun. Not now, not ever. Never have I ever used that stupid word. You won't get the Lord of Chaos to feel sorry for you.
There was a moment of silence, except for the little foal's constant crying, as the voice seemed to just think to itself, trying to restrain from saying anything else to the little one. The crying kept up for a solid 5 minutes before the voice finally gave up.
Alright, fine! Just shut up already!
The little foal stopped crying as she stared down at the statue confused.
If I say the S word, will you please shut up?
The little foal smiled and made a happy noise as she reached her hooves up to the sky.
Alright.
The voice took a deep breath as if this was the most important moment of its life. The little foal said.
I'm trying, okay?
The little foal suddenly smacked him on the head.
I'm sorry!
The little foal clapped her hoofs together and giggled, now nuzzling the head of the statue.
Well, and your hoof is perfectly fine now, isn't it?
The foal only giggled in response, as she hugged his head now. The voice simply only sighed, unsure if this was enjoyable or not, but not complaining. As the little foal hugged him, a crack noise was heard below her, which she didn't seem to notice at all.
Princess, come this way. I noticed a few things by the statue.
A guard pony and Princess Celestia galloped over to the statue of Discord. Everything seemed to look normal as always, a lot more normal considering a lot had been restored since the night of that terrible storm. It had only been a week, and those ponies seemed to have everything in order again, though a few things were off.
There's an abandoned cradle right here beside the statue,
the guard pointed out. The princess approached it, staring down at the empty cradle and then up to the statue of Discord. Her eyes narrowed between his stone antlers, thinking she saw something pink shift around.
How long has this cradle been here?
She asked.
A week is what some of the guards said. I work inside, so I never noticed.
She softly glided her hoof through a soft blanket inside and turned back to the guard.
Continue the search. That ball is definitely here.
The guard nodded and trotted off. Celestia turned back to the statue.
You better not have done anything to that foal. I know your powers reach further than your stone prison, and that you're more than capable of wreaking havoc. I don't trust you, and I never will.
Celestia stared at the statue for a moment more with stern eyes and turned away, following the same way the guard went. A babble of a foal was suddenly heard.
Yes, you did well and all that. It really isn't hard to hide on a giant mismatched statue.
The foal was suddenly levitated off the statue's neck and placed on the ground in front of the statue.
Let's get this straight, though. I'm not your parent, and I never will be. I also most definitely won't be associated with you. You're going to have to find some other free caretaker because I'm not doing it anymore.
The foal looked up at the statue, confused, and made a noise.
You have to get out of here, or let yourself get caught. Those are your two options. Although, clearly it seems like you want to take the first one because your parents were so abusive to you.
The foal folded her ears and babbled angrily.
Oh no! My toy rabbit got taken away! Now my parents are the worst in all of Equestria!
The voice mocked the foal. The foal suddenly started to scream in anger.
Ah, yes. Scream your little lungs out and get the guards to hear you. Perfect plan. I don't even know why I'm talking to a tiny baby who has no idea what she wants or what she's saying.
The thumping of galloping was suddenly heard on the other side of the castle gardens. The foal didn't seem to care, though, as she continued to scream.
Perhaps they'll make you into a stone statue like me. After all, your screaming could disturb all of Equestria. So you'll be seen as nothing but a nuisance.
The guards' heads could be clearly seen over the flowers now, and the foal continued to scream.
Would you shut up?
A shockwave suddenly burst from the statue, exploding outwards and utterly destroying flowers and crops as it traveled away. The young foal toppled over and nearly went flying, as she gripped the ground somehow by only a stray flower survivor. The guards, however, got it hard, as they all were knocked over and a few went flying. The shockwave was even strong enough to shatter a few windows on the castle, as small pieces were flung into the grass below. Every pony in the castle area had to have felt that. Ugh, what in Equestria was that?
A magic surge?
Magic surge? Really? There's no unicorns around here that could manage to do that.
Who cares? None of the others are hurt. Let's go.
The guards that remained replied to each other as they all soon dusted themselves off of grass and galloped off to go help the wounded. This gave the little foal a chance to get up and recover. She lifted her now bruised arm and sniffled, tears dripping down her cheeks.
This is why they keep me in stone. This is why they keep me in stone!
The voice repeated. The foal fell over, frightened by the voice. Well, raising its voice.
I can't be trusted to not hurt any pony, especially some pony as delicate as you. I don't even trust myself, quite frankly. I've gone mad.
The foal shook her head and seemed to babble some comforting words in her own little language, as she inched closer to the statue, still cautious.
Why don't you just leave? What do you exactly see in me that's so great? You're only a child.
When she knew he wouldn't harm her again, she freely walked over, carrying confidence with her and knowing she'd be fine. She climbed up from his stone tail, and then all the way up to his face. She sat on his muzzle at this point, when she suddenly hugged it, closing her eyes. The young foal suddenly said.
What? Love? What's that supposed to mean?
She pointed towards his chest and smiled up at him.
Love?
The voice said, seeming like it was trying to touch its own non-existent chest. That was the moment that changed everything for the both of them. Although it was very short and less meaningful to an outsider, it meant everything to Discord. Even within his stone prison, he could feel tears welling up in his eyes, trying to escape the stone encasing him. He had the urge to embrace the young one suddenly, something he had never felt before in his many years of life. The stone restrained him from moving his arms around the young one, but he could visualize it happening within his mind. He didn't even understand what he was feeling right now. He just felt warm. Happy?
I don't know what to say.
The foal only grinned and nuzzled his muzzle. Full of little words, but such hard-hitting meaning.
I've never had anyone who's loved me before. And maybe you don't know if you love me or not, and you're only saying that to be kind, but all I know is you're worth more than the ponies I've tortured in the past, and I will protect you.
A blinding light exploded out as loud cracking noises sounded throughout the castle gardens. Celestia had just arrived to assist the fallen guards when she saw the sudden light, immediately following it. When she arrived, she only stood there staring in utter disbelief. The pedestal that held Discord's statue upon it was now empty, with no large Draconequa statue to be found anywhere. The only thing that seemed to be left behind was that same cradle from before, untouched.